Welcome geometry students to class today on this Monday the 14th. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're ready to learn some math today. Let's go ahead and get started. You will have a test on Wednesday. Now in the past we had said that test would be on Tuesday, and then I remembered that you guys have TACS testing this week, and so I did some research, and please understand that you only have geometry this week on Monday and Wednesday. You do not have first hour on Tuesday, and you do not have first hour on Thursday. Okay, so your test will be Wednesday. Moving on, you have nothing to turn in. I gave you the review sheet to work on over the weekend. You did not have to work on it. I hope that you did. I gave you a video to watch. I hope that you did, but all of that is up to you. So you have nothing to turn in, but you do have a test on Wednesday. I will not be able to talk to you guys on Tuesday to remind you about that test, so please don't forget, test on Wednesday, and I should be there as far as I know. Okay, Jake, there are 2 assignments that I emailed about over the weekend. If you have these, please turn them in, okay? Please take care of them at this time. All right, let's continue on. I hope you guys had a good weekend, and I hope you're looking forward to having this Friday off. Good Friday. I know that I am. And by the way, unless the school calendar is incorrect, you seniors are going to be gone all of next week on the senior trip. So congratulations to you guys, and I hope you have a lot of fun on the trip, and I hope you enjoy the break from class. Don't forget we have a test. This should say Wednesday. I made this video. I typed these slides up earlier in the weekend before I realized there was ACT. So don't forget we have a test Wednesday. The video you can watch that will help you with your review sheet is Geometry Chapter 10 review sheet. And by the way, you can fast forward the first 4 minutes approximately if you want to. There's really nothing there that would interest you guys. That is a video from last year. This video that I'm circling right now is from last year. And so just listen to how to work the problems out. That's all that you really need to do. Now remember, this review sheet is worth 5 bonus points, so please do it. Azu, you've already turned it in, so you're good. The rest of you can turn it in on the day of the test, and of course, again, that's Wednesday, not tomorrow. All right? We are going to start chapter 11 today. Now please understand there'll be no homework tonight. I would not do that to you, okay? There's not going to be any homework tonight. I want you to study for your test tonight and tomorrow night. I really want you ready for this test. Now you might be wondering, well, Mr. Earhart, when are we going to do homework over this lesson? All the way when you come back after senior trip, we'll look at some homework then, okay, over this lesson. But today, we're going to start chapter 11. We're going to look into it a little bit, and we'll do the first lesson, and you can get a review when you get back, and we'll do some homework over it when you guys get back, okay? But I want you focusing on your test. That's the most important academic thing you have when it comes to your math class, okay? So test on Wednesday. Chapter 11 is about, for the most part, circles. Today's heading is called Parts of Circles, Lesson 11.1. Parts of Circles, Lesson 11.1. The date today is the 14th, and by the way, if you don't finish this video, you are required to finish it tonight, okay? But you should finish it in class, but if you don't, you need to finish it tonight. Now, unfortunately for you students, we are going to start off with some definitions, okay? So there will be some definitions and theorems in this chapter, okay? So do understand that and be ready for that, which does mean more fill in the blank type of questions, okay? All right, here we go. Please write this in your notes. A chord is a segment whose endpoints are points on a circle. A chord is a segment whose endpoints are points on a circle. Okay? Let me give you a couple pictures. I would like you to write these in your notes. And we can take our time with the video today, so take some really good notes. Like I said, there's no homework. Let's just really focus on taking some good notes. So please copy both of these examples down. Now, do you understand how in this circle right here to my left, I definitely have a chord AB? You should see that right away. The only thing you need to have for a chord is a line or a segment that is inside of a circle whose endpoints, actually it's a segment, excuse me, whose endpoints lie right on the circle. So if I had a line that started here, or a segment that started here and went to here, that would not be a chord, because this endpoint right here that I'm circling in red, that endpoint right there is not on the circle. Okay, so do you understand what a chord is? A chord is a segment, not a line, a segment whose endpoints are on a circle. So this circle right here has a chord. It has chord AB. Now look at this circle over here. Do understand that AD, and I would take some notes on this, is not, put an X over it, is not a chord. AD is not a chord, because here's the endpoints for AD, and notice those endpoints are not lying on the circle. AC is not a chord, because the endpoints for AC are here and here. Now C lies on the circle, but A does not. BD is not a chord. BD is not a chord, because yes, B's endpoint lies on the circle, but D does not. So hopefully by now you have figured out there is one chord here, and the one chord is BC. So we definitely have chord BC, chord BC, because this segment right here has a point B on the circle and a point C on the circle. Do you understand what a chord is? It's very, very important that you understand the terms that we're going to cover today, and that you memorize them and keep them in your memory, because we're going to use these words a lot in theorems. Okay? All right, let's continue on. Please copy this in your notes. Diameter is a chord. So let's stop right there. If we know the diameter is a chord, then we know it's a segment whose endpoints lie on the circle. But what else is a diameter besides being a chord? It also passes through the center of a circle. For example, we'll go ahead and copy this down. Diameter, a chord that passes through the center of a circle. Now, here's the center of the circle right here. We'll call that Z. Does AB pass through the center? No, it does not. Of course not. So AB is not a diameter. It's a chord. It's definitely a chord, but a diameter is more than just a chord. A diameter is a chord that passes through the center of a circle. Like this. Please write this down. There, right here, is an example of a diameter. Right here. AB. AB is a chord. It has its endpoints right on the circle. But not only is it a chord, notice that chord also passes right through the center of the circle. Okay? So basically a diameter will always cut the circle right in half. It doesn't matter where it's drawn. If you have a circle like this and the diameter is drawn like this, it still will cut the circle in half. Now, I would like you to take a look at this picture over here. Do you see a diameter anywhere? I would like you to answer on your own in your head. Is AB a diameter? AC? AD? AE? How about BC? Is BC a diameter? Is BD a diameter? Is BE a diameter? CD, CE? Well, there's only one diameter up here, and you can write it two different ways. You can say that we have diameter BD, or excuse me, I'm not sure why I put a C, BD, or you can put DB, either way. But that's your diameter right there. One endpoint B is on the circle, the other endpoint D is on the circle, and the center is C, and the chord goes right through the center. So diameter BD or diameter DB would be the diameter of the circle. I hope that makes sense as to what a diameter is. All right, let's continue on. Now a radius, excuse me, is a segment with one endpoint at the center and the other endpoint on the circle. Please copy that down. Let me read that again. Radius is a segment with one endpoint at the center of a circle and the other endpoint on the circle. And here's a picture of that. And that's so easy. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this. This is very, very much a basic term that we've learned probably in middle school, okay? A radius is a segment that has one endpoint at the center, like A, and the other endpoint lies on the circle, like B. So we have radius AB. My cell phone's going off. Sorry about that. Let me turn that off. There we go. Radius AB. Does that make sense? It's a segment. One endpoint is at the center and the other endpoint is on the circle. Okay? All right, let's continue on. Now, copy this in your notes, please. A secant is a line or a segment that intersects a circle in 2 points. Let me say that again. It's a line or a segment that intersects a circle in 2 points. Intersects is a very important key word. Okay? Let me show you what I mean. AB is what we call a chord. Now I guess technically you could say that AB is intersecting the circle in 2 points, here and here, but when they stop, when the segment stops and rests directly on the circle, we call that a chord. Now a secant line, or as we call it just a secant or a secant line, is a line or a segment that intersects a circle in 2 points. In other words, it goes all the way through the circle, okay? So we would not call AB a secant. We would not call BD a secant or BC. We would say that AD is a secant line, or we just call it a secant, okay? So let me say that again. A secant is a line or a segment that intersects a circle in 2 points. Okay? Intersects, being very careful. I mean, technically you could say that this line segment right here is intersecting the circle in 2 places, and I would have no problem with that, even if you called it a secant, but more technically speaking, or more specifically, it's a chord because the endpoints are resting right on the circle. But here we have a segment going all the way through the entire circle, so we would say segment AD is a secant line or a secant for the circle right here. And by the way, it can be a line, not just a line segment. Let's say we had an arrow here, and let's say we had an arrow here, then you would say line AD is a secant line because it's a line that's going through the circle, intersecting it in 2 different places and continuing on. So do you see the difference? Chord, a little more specific, the endpoints lie right in the circle. A secant line is a line or a segment that goes all the way through the entire circle, intersecting it in 2 different places. Okay? That will be a secant. Now, continuing on. Tangent. Well, I know we just did sine, cosine, and tangent. You're going to have to forget about that for a second because you know in the English language a word sometimes has more than one meaning. Well, it's the same thing in math. And right now when I'm talking about a tangent, I am talking about something that's totally different and has nothing to do with your trigonometric trig function called tangent. Do you understand? They're totally different. This tangent here is a line or segment that intersects a circle in exactly one place or one point. A tangent is a line or segment that intersects a circle in exactly one point. Please copy this in your notes. Please copy this in your notes. Here's a picture of that. We're going to go ahead and call this circle A. And by the way, a circle is always named by its center. So we're going to call the center of the circle A. And the symbolism would look like this. Circle A. Alright? So this is circle A. And notice how we have a line A. We'll just call it line A. And notice how line A is moving in such a way that it intersects the circle in exactly one point right here. Okay, then it continues on. Now, I mean, if you're barely off a little bit, then the line might actually intersect the circle twice. Once here and once here. Now, we just learned we call that a secant, okay? This line right here, this black line, would be a secant, but it would not be a tangent because a tangent line intersects a circle in exactly one place. So please do understand that. And by the way, this point X right here, where the line is intersecting the circle at one place, we have a special term for that and you need to know it. It's called the point of tangency. You need to know that. So wherever the line is intersecting the circle at one point, we call that the point of tangency. Okay? The point of tangency. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at a couple problems here. Okay, students, if you would please turn your books to page 589, and let's take a look at example 1. Usually I take a picture in the book, or take a picture of the book, and I just decided to go ahead and draw this myself. So here's what you should see in your book. For the most part, I've not drawn it perfectly, but you can pretty much see for the most part that it matches the diagram in the book. Now, it says tell whether the line or segment is best described as a chord or a secant or a tangent or a diameter or a radius. Okay? And so here we go. Let me get a drink. And let's go ahead and give this a shot. First of all, they want us to examine letter A says segment AD. AD. Well, here's AD right here. And you could definitely call that a chord. I would have no problem with that. It's definitely a chord. But more than likely the answer we're looking for is diameter. Because notice not only does it not only do the endpoints A and D lie on the circle, but notice also it passes right through the center, which does make it a diameter. Okay, so I would lean more toward diameter on this one, personally. Okay, let's take a look at letter B. They want us to discuss HB. HB. Well, now that's going to be a chord. I mean, here's endpoint H, here's endpoint B. Both endpoints are lying on the circle, and then of course here's the segment that connects those 2 points. So HB is definitely going to be a chord. All right, a chord. All right, let's continue on. EG. Well, EG is going to be a tangent line. Notice how EG intersects the circle in one place. Line EG. So it starts here, or here, however you want to look at it, and it travels over and it intersects the circle in one place, and it keeps going. So we definitely are going to say that line EG would be what we call a tangent line, or you can just say a tangent. Okay, so this line right here is a tangent, and the point of tangency would be F. The point of tangency would be letter F. Okay, now lastly, letter D, we're going to look at line JK. Now notice line JK is right here. Here's J, here's K, and here's the line that goes through those 2 points. And I know it's referring to line JK, not segment JK, because of this right here. Notice the symbol above JK. The symbol is a line. So if a line goes through a circle and intersects it in 2 places, we call that line a secant line, or we can just say it's a secant. So line JK is a secant line because it intersects the circle in 2 different places. All right, let me get a drink here, excuse me. And let's continue on. Also, if you would, please turn your books to page 590. Please turn your books to page 590, and I should have had that one drawn ahead of time, but I'm not going to. I think you can look in the book there, and I don't have to really give you any pictures. We can just kind of figure this out on our own. So if you'll please turn in your books to page 590, look at example number 2. First of all, it says identify a chord. Okay, well, we probably have more than one. AB is a chord. Does everybody see that okay? And also, DE is a chord. Either one of those two answers would be sufficient. Okay? Either one of those two answers, because both of those segments are chords. Now let's take a look at what they want us to do next. They want us to find a secant. Well, we're looking for a line that's going to intersect a circle in two places. And what I'm seeing is line HJ. Everybody please locate H, please locate J, and notice the line that goes between H and J is a line, so it continues all the way through the circle, and it's intersecting the circle in how many places? That's right, two places. So HJ is what we call a secant. All right, let's take a look now at segment FG. Sorry, segment FG. No, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Next is a tangent. So far the directions have said identify a chord. We did that. Identify a secant. We've done that. And now we're going to identify a tangent. Well, students, a tangent is a line that intersects the circle in exactly one place. I only see one line that does that. If you look at the top of the circle, you will see line GF, line GF, or FG, however you want to say it. And students, that is a line that intersects the circle in exactly one place. Do you see it there? Please look for the G, look for the F, and notice the line that connects the G and the F intersects the circle in one place. By the way, the point of tangency would be point K. The point of tangency would be point K. All right. Let's also label a diagram, or a diameter. Excuse me, a diameter. As I look at this circle, I notice that segment DE is a diameter. Segment DE. How do I know that? Well, look at point D, it lies on the circle. Look at point E, it lies on the circle. And notice that chord passes through the center, which is C. So anytime a chord passes through the center, we call it a diameter. So DE is a diameter. Okay? Now let's continue on to to the part of 2 radii. Now radii, R-A-D-I-I, is plural for radius. We don't say look for 2 radiuses, we say look for 2 radii. Now I want to show you something you need to see. Here's the circle, more or less. Not a very good circle, but you get the point. And here's chord, or diameter, DE. And here's the center. And the center is C. Students, do you not see that DC would be a radius, and also CE would be a radius? From the center of the circle to the line, CD or DC is a radius, and then from the center out to the edge of the circle is also a radius, and that's going to be segment CE or EC. It doesn't matter. So there's the 2 radii right there. Okay, CD is a radius and CE is also a radius. Now, they want us to tell the center of the circle, and obviously the center of the circle is point C. Okay, and then they ask us for the point of tangency, and obviously the point of tangency is where line GF right here, something like that in your book. Notice that this line right here, line GF, intersects the circle in one place at K. So the point of tangency is going to be K. Okay? It will be K. Now, students, that's all that we're looking at today. We're starting chapter 11. It's not too difficult of a chapter. You'll have some memorization and some terms, definitions, and theorems to learn, stuff like that, but it's not that difficult. But one thing's for sure, if you don't know these terms and memorize them right now, right away, then the math will be more difficult in chapter 11 because we use these terms a lot. And if I have a theorem that uses the words tangent, secant, chord, radius, diameter, etc., and you don't know what those things are, then it's going to be very difficult for you to understand the theorem. So make sure you go over these definitions, make sure you understand them correctly, and remember you have no homework tonight. We'll do homework over lesson 11.1 when you all get back from senior trip. And Haley, you will have class, obviously, next week, even though the seniors will be gone. We're going to cover a little bit of more trigonometry. It's a little extra, and I'm going to give you a quiz on it over the week, over that week at the end of the week. So please don't think you'll have a week off. We're not going to do that. Your parents are paying money for you to go to school, and I definitely don't want to take a week away from you. Okay, so you will have class next week. But anyways, we'll do homework on this later. Have a good day today. Don't forget, students, to study for your test. It's Wednesday, so you have today, tonight, Tuesday, and Tuesday night to study for your test, and I should be there Wednesday to give the test to you. Okay? Call or email if you have any questions.